Today, I want to show you how to design a simple Happy New Month flyer in Pixellab. So if you are ready for this, then just stay tuned, watch this video up to the end and grab every little concept that you need to know right now. So let's start quickly. I'm going to delete all this stuff over here and start from a default background like this. And of course, I'm going to delete this text and start with my background preparation. So the first thing that I have to do is to import the image that I'm going to use for the background. So quickly, let me pick it up from my gallery, and I'm going to leave the link in the video description for you to also download it and use. Right, so the image is right here, and what I'm going to do is to select 1:1 aspect ratio and tap on a check mark right here. After that, I'll move to relative size and make the width and the height 100%. So at this point, I can go ahead and lock the layer now. So what I have to do after this is probably import the person's image that I want to use for this tutorial. So I'm going to import the image right away. Let me check quickly and pick it up. So I got the image right here, and I'm going to crop it just a little bit like this, just to remove the watermark. After that, I'll stretch the image just to increase the size of it a little bit, and I'll put it at one side like this. And I think this is okay for me. All right, at this point it depends on your preference. Okay, so I'm going to lock the layer as well. So after putting the image over here, I can go ahead and enter my text. Okay, but before I do that, I'll go ahead and bring in the grid tool. Right now, the grid tool is also white and the background is also white. If you want to see everything clearly, you can equally go ahead and reduce or turn off the background just for you to see everything clearly. Okay, after that, you can go ahead and turn on the background. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give some alignment to my working area first before I actually start with any other thing that I want to do. Okay, so basically I'm going to delete some elements over here because I literally don't want them, so I'm just going to delete them. Some of the lines, I'm going to delete them quickly. So at this point, I think I'm pretty much done over here. Okay, so yeah, this should be fine for me. Good. So what I'm going to do right now is to start entering the text I want to enter, and I'll also bring in some images. So I'll start with the text. So the first text is going to be Happy New Month. Okay, so I'll start with Happy New Month right here. So what I have to do is to reduce the size of this particular text over here. Now there's one thing you have to actually take note of over here. The color of the text is white and the background that we are supposed to use is also white, but don't worry, when we are done with entering the text, we'll change the color to black and other colors that we want to use. Okay, so I think I'll use 16 for this and I'll leave it just right here. Okay, so the next text I have to enter is welcome. So welcome to March. Welcome. And for this particular text, I'm going to use a font like photography signature or photograph signature. Right, so let me pick it up quickly right here. And of course, I may want to increase the size of it or just leave it like that. So I'm just going to increase the size a little bit. And there's one thing I have to add to, so I'll go ahead and do that quickly. That's welcome to. Good, I think it's pretty much cool over here. Let me just position it well right here. So at this point, I can go ahead and enter the month name, which is March. We are currently in March. This is 1st of March. So I'm going to enter March over here, make it capitalized, and change the font to go bold. So let me go through my font section over here. Awesome, go bold is here, and I have to bring it down and increase the size of it as well. So let's work with a perfect size. I think 75 should be perfect for us in this regard. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to tap on a check mark and push this to the top a little bit, and also push the welcome to the top a little bit, and this should be pretty much cool for us. Now at this point we need to import a shape, probably make it a rectangle, and we'll have to bring it down here, reduce the size of it and reduce it like this. I think this should be pretty much cool for us now. So I'll tap on a check mark. Take note, at the end of the tutorial we're going to change the color of everything. Okay, so just wait and save it. The next test that we are going to enter is 03. So like March is the 3rd month of the year, so basically I'm going to represent it with 03. So the font I'm going to use for this is Montserrat Black. Alright, so it is here, and I have to bring it down quickly. So let me quickly do that. We would have to add a stroke to this test, but right now I'm not going to add a stroke. Okay, when we are getting to maybe the end of the tutorial, I'm going to add a stroke to it to make the necessary adjustments we have to make. Okay, and at a point we also have to reduce the size of it, but for now, yeah, let's just see what we can do. So let me leave it at 31 for now and proceed with the other thing we have to do. Okay, so at this point I'm also going to enter another test, like remember to be creative with your phone. That's kind of our motto here as Serene Arts. Okay, so remember to be creative with your phone. Yeah, so I'm going to bring it down somewhere here. So I think it should be perfect at this place. Okay, now the next thing that I have to do after this is to bring in another shape, and for this shape I have to change the color of it as well, but for now I'm just going to use a white and make it a little bit smaller like this, then bring it to the bottom, just something like this. Okay, I may try to reduce the opacity of this shape a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. Okay, and we have to go ahead and enter the text like Serene Arts, then the social media handles as well over there. So for the social media handles I'm going to enter a text like C. So we have CTFY, that stands for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. So I'm going to use the font called Icons. Okay, the name of the font is Icons. So this is it. I'm going to pick it up and here. So for this test, since the background is white, I would like to change the color directly to, let's say, black. Okay, however we're not going to use black, we're actually going to use white for this particular test, but for the sake of visibility I want to make it black at the beginning. Okay, so I can now put it down here, then kind of align it with other elements over here. After that I have to go ahead and enter the next test, which is Serene Arts, and this one I'm going to make it capitalized, and of course change the color to black as well, although we're not going to use black for this. I just have to change the color to black, and I'm going to use a font in a Montserrat family, which should be Montserrat Bold right here, and of course I have to reduce the size of it as well and push it down here. So I'm going to leave it here like this. At this point I can go ahead and bring in other things that we actually need in this particular video, like a logo. So I'm going to bring in the Serene Arts logo and see how best we can actually implement it over here. So quickly I'm going to the other albums and I'll pick it up from my Pixellab designs. Okay, I think I got it here. And I'm going to reduce the size of it to something minimal because I don't want it to be big enough over here. So let me just position it at the corner over here and we'll be good to go. So I'm just pushing it down a little bit. Okay, I think this should be okay for us. Now I can remove the grid tool so that we have a look at what we are doing over here. Okay, so now I want us to adjust the person's image a little bit. So I'm going to highlight it and probably move it to one side like this. Okay, now after doing this to the person's image, let's go ahead and lock it again. And after locking it, what we have to do is to select all the text we've entered, including the logo. All right, we have to actually move them. Okay, so I'm going to select everything over here and move them to one side. So you could see I've jumped over one bar over here. That's the bar at the bottom, so I don't want to move it. Okay, so right now I can tap on the edit icon over here and select this move tool and try to move everything to the other side like this. Okay, so I think this should be pretty much okay. Right, we are almost done. The next thing that we have to do is to enter a shape like this and put it behind the person's image right here. So I'm going to tap onto back and we'll be having it like this. Okay, but I have to actually bring it on top of the background we'll be using. So this is what we'll be having. Now at this point we can go ahead and use our color, the various colors that we're going to use in the design. I can go ahead and start using them. So for the text over here, I'm going to use black. Okay, kind of black. I don't want it to be pure black, so I'm going to make it look kind of ash type like this. Okay, so that's the color pattern I'm going to use throughout the tutorial or throughout the design. So I'm going to use the same color for the welcome text, and let's see how it's going to be over there. So for the match, I'm going to use a color like that of orange. So let me search over here, pick it up, and for the shape I'm going to use color blue. So let me just give it color blue quickly. I think I have one over here. And of course we've come back to the text over here, and this text particularly will add a stroke to it, and the stroke is going to be blue. So let's do that quickly and see. And we have to increase the size of the stroke, and when the need arises, then we increase the size of the text itself as well. So watch this carefully, and I hope you're actually learning something from this video. So I just have to manipulate this, place it on the shape to actually signify something over here like this. Yeah, I think this is pretty much cool. It's not bad. Yeah, at this point we have to change the color of the white text over here to that of the kind of ash or black we have over here. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to change the color of the shape to orange. So look at this, we're going to give it orange color, and after this we just have to actually highlight our background and bring it up like this, and this is what you will be having over here. Right, you only have to make sure you have your alignment working properly and you are good to go. Okay, so assuming you want to actually reduce the size of this text over here so that it fits perfectly under your text, you can equally do that. Okay, just by using this. So yeah, this is all that you have to do, and you get something like this. But one thing I want to tell you is about the text I entered at the bottom. Right, so reduce the size of it a little bit. It shouldn't be something that much big. Okay, it shouldn't be something that much big. Reduce the size of it, bring it down, and like I said, we're going to change the color of the shape we inserted at the bottom. So we're going to change the color to color blue, and let's do that quickly. Good. Then we change this color to white. The color of the text we change it to white, and see how it's going to look over there. Do the same thing to the fonts, the icons over there as well. And at this point you can go ahead and save your work. However, if you want to change the color of the person to, let's say, black and white, like I did in one of the flyers, you can equally do that by using the color filter tool over here, by moving the hue to either negative 180 or positive 180. Then move the saturation to negative 100. It's as simple as this. Okay, if you want to actually increase the contrast, you can do that a little bit, and also increase the brightness if you want, and if you want to reduce it, you can reduce it a little bit. Okay, it's all about how you prefer it to be. Okay, so at this point, go ahead and save your work and you are good to go. And of course, don't forget to use Ultra whenever you are saving. Okay, so pretty much that is it. And if you've learned something from this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and also hit that subscribe button on this channel. Then turn on notifications so that each and every time I upload a new video, you get to receive a notification from YouTube. This is Goso here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bless up.